Well, think of what our positions are. What we're saying is we will accept the reform package more or less as you are proposing it. But we want an answer to the very simple question. Is there going to be a prospect for investors, both Greek investors and foreign investors, to look at this proposal and say, I want to invest in this country? And the genuine answer, the only answer that can come out of reading this proposal that was put to us is no. Why? Because this proposal clearly says we're going to have another review next month, and another review in August, and another review in September, and then in October we'll have another negotiation in order to come up with another bailout program by November. No sensible investor will invest. What we need in this country is stability. What we need is a reform package that we can start implementing next week, and a long horizon so that investors have the confidence to say, okay, asset prices in this country are very low, there's a reason for us to invest, but these people have, the Greeks and the IMF and the Europeans, have sorted out an agreement which gives us this long horizon. We need this long horizon, Richard.
How much money is in the system at the moment? In the Greek banking system, in the system, how much of the emergency liquidity?
That is a highly impertinent question to put to a Minister of Finance.
Because there isn't enough, is there?
Well, there isn't enough. Clearly, there isn't enough. This is why we have
there's only a couple of billion left.
I'm not going to give you numbers at this point. All we need to say.
Why not?
Well, because it's not helpful. It is clear that we are in a kind of lockdown situation of the banking system, the purpose of which is to allow the Greek people sufficient time until Sunday and Monday to deliver a verdict so that we have an agreement with the institutions, we have an agreement with our partners in order to be able to build a proper escape plan so that this economy can put behind the crisis and move ahead.
Well, let's take this step by step. If there is a yes vote,
yes.
Well, you've already said this morning you'll be out the door and you won't be around to... You'll brief your successor and you'll be gone.
Well, Richard, let's be clear on this. We're Democrats. The reason why the banks are closed, what is the reason? The reason is that the Eurogroup denied the Greek people the right which we wanted to give to be faithful to have a verdict on the proposal that was put to us by the institutions. This is the only reason why the banks are closed.
You knew, sir, that on the moment that referendum was called and the moment the bailout expired and the moment there was a default on the horizon, you knew what the ECB's decision would be. Because if you didn't know, everybody else...
It wasn't the ECB's decision, Richard.
Everybody else...
It was the Eurogroup's decision. The ECB did what it could within its rules. What I knew was that the Eurogroup, on the 27th of June, put a cruel dilemma onto us. They said, sign an agreement based on a non-viable proposal, or we'll close your banks. Now, any decent democratic government facing this dilemma, especially when this dilemma is put to you so that the people are denied a verdict on this proposal, can make only one choice. Do your worst.
The Prime Minister said in his address yesterday, he assured the Greek people that this wouldn't last long, that this would be over quite quickly. But I suggest he's being disingenuous because he can't know that. And the amount of damage, as indeed Minister Dijsselbloem said to me earlier in the week, the amount of damage that's come about because the economy has effectively had a heart attack this week as a result of the banks being closed is going to make conditionality, the next agreement, even worse.
Richard, you know the essence of investment? It's foregoing present utility in order to achieve a better outcome in the future. That's the essence of investment. Think of what's going on in the last 5 months as an investment into achieving an agreement that is mutually beneficial for everyone. Why is the Greek economy stagnating so badly in the last few months? Why are the banks closed? It is because the Eurogroup has decided to blackmail our government into extending and pretending further like the previous governments were. And we're not going to do this.
And the Eurogroup will say, the banks are closed, the Greek economy is in the situation it's in because the government in Athens is incompetent or inexperienced, or maybe even both.
Richard, the reason why we were elected was because the Eurogroup for 5 years has failed miserably. The institutions have imposed a program of fiscal consolidation that will go down in economic history, global economic history, as the greatest failure ever. This is why I'm sitting in this office now. So perhaps all sides should take a step back and reconsider their own contribution to the last 5 years of this disaster. And maybe they should take very seriously the very simple proposition that it is time to stop extending this crisis into the future.
Christine Lagarde said to me last night in an interview, she said, I asked her, you know, the famous adults in the room quote that she said we could still do with some more adulthood in the room. What did she mean?
What I can tell you is that adults do not hide problems under the carpet. They do not treat problems of insolvency as if they can be dealt with a few more loan tranches on conditions of more austerity, which reduces the incomes from which these loans will have to be repaid. This is not what adults do. And judging by the last 5 years, the IMF, the European Central Bank and the European Commission have some answering to do.